Imagine walking into the empire you built from scratch, only to be dragged out by security like a stranger. That's exactly what happened to Veronica James, the powerful black woman CEO of Metrocore Bank. But what no one saw coming was the storm that followed, because exactly 1 hour later, her legal team didn't just walk back in. They came to tear the place down, floor by floor. Stay with us for this shocking, twist-filled story of betrayal, revenge, and unstoppable power, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you believe justice should never be silent. The Helpful Veronica James, the 38-year-old black powerhouse behind Metrocore Bank, had just stepped out of a private meeting with foreign investors when 3 suited men and 2 armed guards approached her in the marble-floored lobby of the very bank she had built from scratch. They didn't greet her with the respect she was used to. Instead, a white man with thinning blonde hair and trembling hands handed her a formal letter on company stationery. It was a board decision, they claimed. You're being removed from your position as CEO, effective immediately. Veronica stood frozen in her red Louboutin heels, clutching her handbag as the guards moved in to escort her out. You can't be serious, she said, glaring at them. I own 51% of this bank. You can't kick me out of what's mine. But the men didn't budge. They didn't care. They didn't even blink. The shareholders' meeting she had missed while pitching a $500 million international merger deal had turned into a coup. They used her absence to hold a vote, manipulate legal terms, and declare her a threat to corporate stability. In minutes, she was forced out the glass doors and left standing on the sidewalk with her head held high and her heart shattered. The news traveled fast. Whispers turned into shouts on social media. CEO ousted from her own bank. Corporate backstabbing at Metrocore. She didn't shed a tear. Instead, Veronica made one call. Activate Phase 3, she said calmly to her assistant Tasha. Get the legal team and bring the war. The SDOR, and exactly 58 minutes later, a line of sleek black SUVs pulled into Metrocore's front plaza like a funeral procession. With an edge, the building's receptionist stood up in confusion as nearly a dozen sharp-suited individuals walked in without checking in. These weren't your everyday lawyers. This was James & Goldstein, the most feared legal firm on the East Coast, known for billion-dollar wins, corporate takeovers, and their nickname in court, the Guillotine Team. At the helm was Miranda Goldstein, herself, a fiery Jewish litigator with 30 years of courtroom blood under her heels. Behind her came a tech forensic squad, private security, and Veronica herself, now changed into a crisp white power suit, chin high, flanked by a legal army. By what authority are you entering this premises? The interim chairman barked. Rising from Veronica's old office chair, Miranda tossed a 300-page injunction on the mahogany desk. This one, she snapped, filed 19 minutes ago in federal district court. The document accused the board of illegal override minority, discrimination, breach of fiduciary duty, and unlawful seizure of private shareholder equity. Then came the real bombshell. Miranda slammed down a USB stick. This contains audio from last week's strategy call, she said. Your vote wasn't just illegal, it was criminal. The room went silent as a recording played. Several board members joking about replacing the black face for optics once the foreign deal was signed. The air turned to ice. Cameras caught it all. Social media lit up like wildfire. Within minutes, hashtag Veronica James and hashtag Metrocore Takeover were trending globally. The FIGE-GPS press swarmed the building and board members tried to flee out the back exits. Veronica's team locked the place down with a court-ordered freeze. Accounts could be touched, no internal emails wiped, and every executive had to submit personal devices for data forensics. But it didn't stop there. Veronica pulled out receipts. A secret Cayman account tied to the acting chairman. Insider trading records traced to another. Nepotism hires, fake consulting contracts, misused bonuses, all exposed in high definition. Clarity. Meanwhile, the public rallied behind her. Protests formed outside MetroCorp branches nationwide. Black business networks, women-led startups, and even rival banks voiced support. "This isn't just about Veronica," one tweet read. "It's about every woman of color who built an empire just to have it stolen." Veronica gave a national interview that night, calm and unshaken. "They tried to erase me," she said. "Now I'm erasing them." The bank's stock, which had climbed under her leadership, tanked under the temporary board. Investors panicked. Whistleblowers came forward. Even the SEC launched a probe. But it wasn't about revenge for Veronica. It was about principle. You don't get to use a black woman's brilliance to rise, then cast her out the second she challenges your comfort, she told the press. Her face graced magazine covers within days. Forbes, Time, Business Weekly. MetroCorp's name, once a symbol of progress, now stood for betrayal. But Veronica had a plan. The Arias 2 weeks later, Veronica James returned not just to reclaim her title, but to transform the industry. The federal court ruled in her favor after a blistering deposition where board members stammered, sweated, and self-incriminated. Not only was she reinstated as CEO, but the ruling allowed her to dissolve the board, reallocate shares, and create a new executive structure focused on ethics, equity, and transparency. She didn't stop there. Veronica launched Phoenix Cora, new fintech division aimed at supporting underbanked communities and minority entrepreneurs, backed by over $2 billion in redirected MetroCorp assets. She hired women of color, veterans, disabled professionals, those often overlooked by Wall Street. And her final move? She sold MetroCorp. That's right, she sold the bank she built. On her terms, to her buyer. And with a clause that protected every employee under her leadership. Veronica used the profits to start a foundation, the James Legacy Fund, providing grants and legal aid for women wronged in corporate spaces. One reporter asked her, "Do you regret ever building MetroCorp, knowing they tried to steal it from you?" Veronica smiled. "No," she replied, "because they tried to bury me. They didn't know I was a seed." Her story became legend, a Harvard case study, a movie in development, and more importantly, a revolution. The same guards who once escorted her out now stood and saluted her as she walked past, this time, not into a bank, but into a future she made bulletproof. And that's the story of how a black woman, CEO, wasn't just kicked out of her own bank, but came back to burn the whole crooked system down and build something unstoppable in its place.